Welcome. Today's topic is going to be direct object pronouns. Today we're going to answer these questions. First, what is a direct object pronoun? How do we find direct object pronouns in sentences? What are the direct object pronouns in Spanish? And how do you change a direct object into a direct object pronoun? Let's get started answering these questions. First, what is a direct object pronoun? A direct object pronoun is simply a noun that replaces another noun to make communication more efficient and less redundant. How do we find direct objects in sentences? Because we need to be able to find a direct object to replace it with a direct object pronoun. In English, it's pretty easy to find a direct object pronoun. It's the same in Spanish. They're usually found directly after the sentence's verb. If you're making a guess and you're not sure if something or someone is a direct object, just ask the question, who or what is being, and then whatever the verb is. So who or what is being affected by the verb. Here are some examples of sentences with direct objects. I buy the ice cream. Yo compro el helado. She studies the books. Ella estudia los libros. We see the teacher. Nosotros vemos a la profesora. They eat the enchiladas. Ellos comen las enchiladas. Now, in order to use direct object pronouns in Spanish, we need to know what they are. So that brings us to our next question. What are the direct object pronouns in Spanish? Okay, in English, the most common direct object pronouns are it and them. These words are represented in Spanish by the words lo and la for it, okay, and los and las for them. Lo and la, lo can also mean him, and la can mean her. And los and las can mean them as either people or things. Other direct object pronouns that we use are me for me, te for you, and nos for us. Now, next question. How do you change a direct object into a direct object pronoun? Now that we know direct objects and know the replacement words called direct object pronouns, we can begin making our communication more efficient. The first thing that we have to do is learn that there is one gigantic difference between English and Spanish, and that difference is in where you put the pronouns in the sentence. The general rule in English, they normally go in the same position that the direct object was in. So you're just replacing one word with another word in the same place. In Spanish, the general rule is that you will group all the pronouns at the beginning of the sentence in the order of subject, then your direct object pronoun, and then your verb. The only word that can ever go between a subject pronoun or a subject and a direct object pronoun is the word no when you're trying to say when you're trying to make a sentence negative. Okay, so let's return to our previous sentences and do a step-by-step demonstration of how it all works. In English, we replace the word ice cream with it. So we have the sentence, I buy the ice cream. For some reason, we already know that we're talking about ice cream, so we're just going to say, I buy it. Okay, same thing in Spanish. We replace the pronoun with its masculine singular equivalent. If you remember, there was two words for it. There was lo and la. So the word ice cream is el helado, which is masculine and singular. So we are going to replace it with the masculine singular it, not the feminine one. So that masculine singular pronoun for it is lo. So our sentence ends up being from yo compro el helado. We change it to yo lo compro. Okay, so if I'm saying I don't buy the ice cream, okay, yo and lo will be separated by the word no. So you'll end up with yo no lo compro. Okay, let's see if you can do the rest. We'll do the English example first and then the Spanish. Try to replace the pronouns before the video does. Okay, so next sentence was, she studies the books. She studies them. Okay, ella estudia los libros. Ella los estudia. We see the teacher. Becomes we see her. In Spanish, it's nosotros vemos a la profesora. If we use a direct object pronoun, we'll replace the teacher, and our sentence will end up being nosotros la vemos. Okay, and the last example, they eat the enchiladas. They eat them. Ellos comen las enchiladas becomes ellos las comen. Here are some more examples for you to try with me, te, and nos. So we're going to be using the verb ver on this. If you remember, ver is conjugated in the present tense, veo, ves, ve, vemos, ven. Okay, so first example, I see you. Okay, remember that we're trying to put all the pronouns in front of the verb. So the last thing in the sentence is going to be the word for see. Okay, so we are going to end up with yo, te, veo. All right, next one is you see me. Put all the pronouns in front, subject, then direct object, then the verb. You'll end up with tú me ves. Okay, and last one is she sees us. She sees us would be ella nos ve. Okay, so hopefully you're kind of getting it right now. A couple more things that we need to know about the pronoun placement is that's usually going to go in the order and in the place that I told you, but there are a couple, there's 5 exceptions. When you do not have to place the direct object right next to the subject. This can occur when the following suffixes are present in a sentence. The pronoun can be attached right at the end of the suffix. So this is kind of like how we do it in English, because it's going to be in the same place as the original word. The only difference is it's now attached to the verb. So we are taking 2 words and squeezing it into one, which we don't do in English. Okay, so the suffixes that we can put direct object pronouns right on the end of, okay, are words that end in AR, like comprar and estudiar. Words that end in ER, like ver and comer. And also words that end in IR, like escribir. So you can attach pronouns to the end, direct object pronouns to the end of infinitives. The other 2 places are ando, as in comprando, and estudiando. And you can also add direct object pronouns to yendo, as in viendo, comiendo, or escribiendo. You may have noticed now when they were up on the screen that there are accents on ando and yendo that weren't there before. Whenever you add a pronoun to the end of ando or yendo, they require accents, so you have to remember that. Here are some examples of how this pronoun attachment can occur. If we take the sentence, yo estoy comprando el helado, I'm buying the ice cream. Now there's two different ways we can do it. We can stack all the pronouns at the beginning like we did in the first few exercises, or now we can attach that pronoun to the end of the word comprando. So these are the two ways that it'll look like. Okay, first way, yo lo estoy comprando. Okay, and the second way is yo estoy comprándolo. Okay, if we take the next sentence, ella va a estudiar los libros. We're going to replace los libros with the pronoun los. And we end up with ella los va a estudiar. Okay, the second way is going to be ella va a estudiarlos. Okay, so next sentence. Okay, we've got nosotros vamos a ver a la profesora. So the teacher is the direct object, and we're going to replace the teacher with the word her. And there's two different ways that we're going to do this one. Nosotros la vamos a ver. Okay, when the pronouns are side by side at the front. Okay, and now we've got an infinitive, ver, and we can attach that pronoun to the end. So we end up with nosotros vamos a verla. Okay, last example is ellos están comiendo las enchiladas. So we're replacing las enchiladas with the word them. Okay, las enchiladas is feminine and plural, so we're going to use the word las for them. And the first way we do it is all the pronouns at the beginning. Ellos las están comiendo. Okay, now we can do it with that direct object pronoun on the end of comiendo. So that sentence would be ellos están comiendo las. Okay, one word, comiendo las. That's pretty much it for how we use and place direct object pronouns in sentences. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it helped your understanding of direct object pronouns and how they work. Thanks.